Well, hi everybody.
Hey, we're here.
We're here. So, just first of all, let me make two apologies. I want to apologize once again for the technical difficulties last week and thank everybody who watched for their patience as far as that goes. And thank you all of you who are watching now for your patience this week because I had other completely unforeseen technical difficulties that I had to work my way through. Um, I have my computer audio set up so that when we do these shows, I can I can hear the episode of the show we're watching, but you folks watching can't hear the audio because we're
Neener,
watching it.
neener, neener. Oh no,
Well,
not for
you're
that.
supposed to be watching it on your own, and I don't have clearance to even share the audio of what we're watching with you. So
What?
it
But
I
Steve,
know.
you're a big shot. You have a plaque.
I know.
You have
It
you have a
doesn't cover broadcast rights, unfortunately. Um,
gosh darn it.
But so for some reason, like 10 minutes before our scheduled start time, I noticed that it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do anymore. I just updated XSplit, so maybe that had something to do with it. Some setting got changed or something in the update. But
Telling you, updates suck.
why do we have them?
It was the
Uh,
I update. I don't like it. I don't like it because what the update does is it says, "Oh, now your hardware is too old, and now we're going to make it work bad." So it's like
yeah.
this.
Oh, sorry, you can't use this anymore.
Yeah. It's screwed. Let me tell you, I used until the games that I wanted to play, actually until people started, fussing at me for not having um a cell phone. I used my husband's old iPhone until like 2 years ago. It was an iPhone 4.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah. So yeah. And then people were like, so that's it's not a phone? I'm like, no, but like I can get on Wi-Fi and do everything else. And if somebody wants to call me, I'll get the message and I'll call them back when I'm at home using the landline. It's a voice over IP, so we don't pay as
oh
much.
yeah, I had back when before I entered my present situation, our quote unquote landline was a
Boy,
Magic Jack. So yeah,
ours
um,
is an UMA.
what's the difference?
It's funner to say.
But yeah,
UMA.
that was something too. Like I was a late adopter of smartphones too. Like I didn't get my first smartphone until like 3 years ago, and it was just, I mean, it was breathtaking how quickly I adapted to it. Where because I had like an old like flip phone for my cell phone, and then
Am
for
I
like
surprised? No.
for getting online and stuff, I had a Kindle, and I had that I if there was Wi-Fi, I could use that for surf the internet and check my email and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I got along with that for years, and then
Because
I
there's
got
Wi-Fi everywhere now.
yeah, and then I got my first smartphone, and I was like, oh, this is it. Fuck, what have I been doing all these years? So
Not paying a data bill. That's what you've been doing all those years.
yeah, but my bill's not that bad actually.
Well, good. I'm glad.
So Azalea, I've never watched one of Ryan's watch along streams, but I have noticed that he does that. So, but I mean, I guess I could do that, but I mean, what's really the point? Like you're watching it on your end, you see the unblurred version. Um, you know, like I don't really get. I mean, whatever.
Azalea, thank you. It's actually not. I'm just far enough away from the camera. And I do.
Uh,
I have a fair amount of practice with the eyebrows. And I have a pencil that I like. Or not. It's been a long friggin' day. I have a brush that I like for the eyebrows. Um, but yeah, I'm just far enough away from the camera that you can't see all the stuff that I've actually done. There's no eyeshadow, and the eyeliner is still like bonkers. But that's okay because I'm far enough back, and the glare on the glasses obscures a lot of it, so it's all good. Oh my gosh, Steve, I didn't tell you this.
yes, please tell
My
me.
fourth block class, I forget what it was. I was trying to encourage them to stay, to stay alert and pay attention. I'm like, I understand it's the end of the day. It's been a long day. It's Monday. And they're like, I'm going on with this. And they're like, Miss Cole. And I'm like, Oh, it's not one day. Like, you guys, it's been a really long day. I'm tired. I was just like, they were trying to figure out if I was messing with them, but I was like, wait, no, what is today? Oh, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Oh my God, it's Wednesday. Just
what is time?
Oh my God. With the time is a social construct.
It is.
It is something we don't thoroughly understand, and yet we all agree on. We have a shared experience of it, so we're all just going to go with it. Also, I don't like daylight savings. I'm just going to say that now.
This is, I know you'll just set it up here, and because people, you're going to make people pay for it if they want to hear the full rant. Because this is, you, as we've mentioned a few times before, and as you've mentioned in your more recent videos on your channel, you have a Patreon now, patreon.com/Dana Cole Dares, and one of the patron only features that you're going to start doing, that you've just done the first one just this past week, is a series of videos called the Swear Jar, where you will loosen your self-imposed language restrictions somewhat. And we've been talking for the last couple of days about some of your ideas for future ones. And yes, a daylight saving time rant is from you, I think, is longer, because I mean, like, I don't really see the point of it, but it doesn't hate it. You hate it. I would be completely fine if we got rid of it, because I don't see the utility of it, but you're like, I hate it so
much.
So that's going to be a good rant.
It doesn't frustrate me as much as people who cruise in the passing lane. Don't do it.
Yes.
Don't do it. Oh boy.
They deserve hell.
Caitlin, I didn't really bother with makeup until, well, which came first? Really probably until I 2022. Okay. When my hair came out during chemo, like, the hair thing, being bald, not a big deal. No eyebrows, that's a big deal. Like, oh golly, what's her name? I can see her face. I follow her on Twitter. There is I think it's a member of the U.S. House of Representatives who's got alopecia.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh fuck, you asked me to. You said it too. Is it
Eleanor?
Is it Ayanna Presley?
Ayanna Presley. I know her name started with a vowel, and it's a lady.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, Andrew, just the one. But I'm saying preemptively, that's gonna the daylight savings time. It's on the list. It is on the list. But yeah, Ayanna Presley. But yeah, so relatively recently, she,
just went full bald. Yeah.
Yeah, like stopped wearing wigs and stuff.
Yeah.
And but she does the eyebrows thing, because we're just, I mean, it's such a thing. Like, I've never, I've known other people who have alopecia or other reasons, but if you don't have eyebrows, like my eyebrows used to be about like this. Yes, it's how I know where to put them.
Eyebrow memory, baby. It never goes away.
Well, it helps that you got like the brow ridges there, and then you just sort of put it on like, yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, that's right. You're not like constantly comparing like older pictures of yourself, going like, let me see.
I don't think it's Philip. I don't think it's this weekend. I think it's the next one.
Yeah, we looked it up yesterday. It's like the 13th, I think.
Yeah, I know, but I forget things. That's my jam. That's what I do.
I believe it's the 13th. So not this coming Sunday, but Sunday after. Yeah.
So
a week from Sunday, let's just say.
Sunday next.
Sunday next.
I don't know. Is that a British thing? It feels like it's a British thing.
It feels like it's something that they would say. I don't know. Andrew, can you confirm? Is that a British thing? We'll be meeting for tea on Sunday next. Is that like something you would hear?
So I just like washed my hair when I got home. So now I'm combing out all the tangles after it's dry.
255 AD says, have either of us been worrying about World War III?
No, 255 AD. Memento mori. We're all going to die. I mean, that it is what it is.
Well, I mean, I live close enough to DC that I mean I don't think I would be killed in the initial blast, but I would probably experience some after effects. So you know,
Yeah,
I'm a little worried
there
about
would.
it.
I'm not.
I'm not like stay. I'm not. It's not keeping me up at night or anything. But you know,
Uh, no, I'm literally not worried at
I'm
all.
hope. I'm honestly. I'm hoping if the Ruskies launch a nuke at us, I'm hoping they go for New York. I mean, you know, go for the big population center. You don't. And if Putin is watching this right
Steve,
now,
Steve,
you don't want to fuck with Washington D.C. There's not that many people there.
Steve.
Yeah. Yes, Dana.
They have more than one.
Oh fuck.
I'm just saying.
Okay, then take out Los Angeles. Don't not San Francisco because that's close to where Jason lives. I don't want anything to happen to Jason. But L.A. Come on, seriously.
I don't suppose you ever read Alas Babylon, did you?
I did not.
They were talking earlier. Do you consider yourself an Xer or a millennial?
Oh, I saw that in the chat earlier when I was fussing with my audio. I consider myself an elder millennial.
Oh, oh.
But
Okay.
I could go either way because 1980 is 1980
right.
is the
It's a cusp year.
is the cusp year. So I honestly I don't strongly identify with either label. Like I don't
Really?
I've never because when I was growing up, I perceived myself to be too young to be Gen X because when people started saying Generation X
You were still a kid.
back in the 90s when that term first came into use, like they were talking about people that were like in their late teens and early 20s, like teenagers and young adults, and that wasn't me. And then when people started saying millennial, I was older than the group that term was generally applied to. So I like to think of myself more as a member of the silent generation.
Yeah, no, that's not. They had that, and that's not you.
Oh, well, like the silent generation 2.0.
Okay, yeah, because my parents are silent generation. They're war babies.
Yeah, like the actual silent generation.
Yeah. Why his eyes, Andrew? That's very specific. It's very interesting to me. Was there anything else? Oh, my story. I have a story, you guys. I have a story about my daughter.
Do tell your story, and then we'll watch the episode.
Yes. Even though you haven't said anything about your week. That's okay, Steve. I forgive you. I absolve you.
I haven't had water all day.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But hopefully, but the city says the water will be. There was a water main break in Hagerstown. I haven't had water since this morning, but the water will supposedly be back on, perhaps by the end of this very stream. So,
dun dun dun! How exciting! If not, certainly by the end of wrestling.
Hopefully by the end, if all else fails, by the end of wrestling. So anyway, tell your story.
So, I am not short.
No,
my daughter is. My daughter is short. Like, really, I think
you can put her in your pocket.
255 AD. Did I talk about this last week on this stream?
You said you were a mom, but I don't think you told the adoption
story.
I'm
but
a mom
told
now.
It on. Yeah, I've adopted my daughter, and she's now legally my daughter. She's been living with us for a little over a year now, but this is now, it's all official, and she says no backseats.
It's official.
So, she has a full-time job, and but hers is like 9 to 5:30 with a half-hour break for lunch, so that makes it 8 hours. Well, we leave for school. My husband and I both work in the school system. We leave for school like 10 minutes to 7. She's like, I'd rather walk to work. So she leaves work right around 8. She walks. It's not real far, but it takes her a good 45 minutes to get there. So she leaves early-ish, but not as early as she was going to leave if she's leaving with us. So 255 AD, she's 19 now. And Andrew, I don't know how short Sarah is. So, and I don't know, I mean, she's maybe a smidgen over 5 feet, but I don't know what that is. And, I don't know. You guys use feet, right? Feet and inches? Like, it's the British imperial system, and you guys are, you know, what used to be the empire, so
right. I mean, we use it because you guys used to use it, and then you went and changed
yeah,
it
it's
on
your
us.
fault.
You know, like... So anyway,
yeah, so anyway, she was walking to work, and she got stopped by a cop who asked her if she ought to be in school. And the salient point here is he asked her if she was supposed to be in that school being the elementary school where my husband works. And she told me this. She said, I'm 19, I'm walking to work. And she said, I started laughing at him and he looked like he felt so stupid. That's my daughter. Yes.
It's always a good day when you can make a cop feel dumb. You know, that's...
Oh boy. Yeah.
When you can laugh at a cop's face, just laugh in his fucking cop face. Just, oh, you dumb cop.
Scritching. Yes, 255 AD. Yes, you can adopt an adult. You know how I know that? Because Bruce Wayne did not adopt Dick Grayson until he was a grown-up.
That's right. Adult adoption. And if it exists in the DC universe, surely it exists in ours.
Yes. And not only that, my dad told me, he came over to visit this week, and he told me, well, your grandmother was adopted. You know, my mom was adopted as an adult. And I'm like, ooh, I knew about Batman. I didn't know about my grandma.
I knew about Batman. I didn't know about that.
You know, my dad's mom didn't know about that one. Knew about Batman though. So she is, in fairness, he's not the only one to make that mistake. It hasn't happened recently, but there have been times we've gone out to eat as a family and they've asked if she wants a child's menu.
Honestly,
to be fair, she would be fine because, I mean, she likes chicken. And who doesn't like macaroni and mashed potatoes?
Honestly, if you ever go like to a movie with her, you should take advantage of that shit, because movie theater tickets are ridiculous. So if you think she can skate by with the child's ticket price, I say go for it.
Oh, my integrity, Steve. My integrity. It's not the movie theater.
You really need to learn, huh?
It's not the movie theater. It's Disney World, Steve.
Well, then that's
a bigger one. Ooh.
Listen, you really need to know when to take your integrity and just put it on a shelf. And you can take it back down again. You don't need to forsake it forever, but just take it and be like, okay, I don't need you right now.
Yes, I think that's an excellent phrase. However, remember that, you know, cops do still have like guns and handcuffs and stuff. 255 AD as far as legal purpose, not a whole lot, to be honest. Mostly it's peace of mind for her. There's still some issues where she doesn't feel like she's a real member of the family. And that's, you know, this was just a way to sort of reinforce that, no, you really are part of our family.
Yeah.
And then also one of the nice things is because we don't have nationalized insurance, this allows me, the job she works at is a very small company, so small that they don't offer insurance for their full-time employees. So this way she's able to be on our insurance and have medical insurance until
she's 26. Yeah.
26. Yeah. And it'll affect inheritance, but hopefully that won't be for a while.
Hopefully not for a while.
You know, I mean, and of course with I was going to say, of course with World War III, but then I was like, well, of course with World War III, then it won't matter who inherits.
Corey, you don't like mashed potatoes, so I am banning you. No, I'm kidding.
You know,
I'm not going to ban you. It's everybody's Corey, entitled.
You know who else doesn't like potatoes? You know who else doesn't like potatoes?
I know, but why don't you share with the audience?
Frodo.
Frodo
doesn't like potatoes.
Frodo, the protagonist of those interminable films. And though I have not read them myself, I can only assume equally interminable books.
Steve, you know what happens when you assume? It gives you an excuse not to read the book.
Which I am completely okay with.
I figured you might be. All right. Actually, so you got the thing where you talk about the thing. My feet are cold. I'm going to grab some socks.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Right there.
Yeah, no. Um, and yet, Homebody, I did see the Sam Elliott thing. That was disappointing. Um, Sam Elliott has been one of my favorite actors for a while, and he always seemed like when I saw him give like in person interviews, like he always seemed like a decent dude. But yeah, the the stuff he said that in the WTF interview that was going around on Twitter yesterday was like, oh man, Sam, god damn it, you know. And then apparently someone I don't know if it was from the same interview or what. I think it might have been from the same interview where he was asked about, well, if he didn't like The Power of the Dog because it has gay themes, what did he think of Brokeback Mountain? And he apparently said uh, that he liked Brokeback Mountain, but he said, of course, the homosexual stuff kind of went over the line. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. How can you have a problem with the homosexual stuff in Brokeback Mountain and still like Brokeback Mountain? Like that's what the movie's about. That's not like
wait. Maybe it's the hats.
The hats,
Maybe it's a hat thing.
I just that's even more because I haven't seen Power of the Dog, so I don't know what it's about or what themes are being referenced. But like Brokeback Mountain is like, how do you say like, well, I really liked it except for the gay stuff? What? That's
what's left.
There's
Homebody, no. See, my argument is that Frodo, as a hobbit, initially likes taters, but like the story, he is a dynamic character. Sam is a static character. And Sam continues to like potatoes, and he goes back and he is able to, return to his life and, marry Rosie and have kids, and garden and have potatoes. And Sam, Frodo, when he goes back, the experience has changed him to the extent that he can no longer continue to live in the Shire. He is still, physiologically a hobbit, but the experience has so changed him that he can't enjoy the things of Hobbiton that he once did. And I include potatoes among that. That is my interpretation of it. Yes, Gollum didn't like potatoes, but remember, Gollum also used to be a hobbit as well. And his experience with the ring changed him. Yes, I know, it's absolutely my headcanon, but it is supported by evidence from the text.
Snakebit Cat has, of course, confused Frodo with Fredo Corleone. And there's a really easy way to tell Frodo and Fredo apart, and that is that Fredo is a good character in a good movie. That's the trick I've always used to distinguish.
It's like a mnemonic.
Yeah, it's like a mnemonic.
Right, so you count us in?
Who's the good character in the good movie? Oh, that's Fredo. Okay. All right. Yes. So we are watching, for those of you, if you haven't got it queued up yet, we are watching Hilda season 2, episode 2, The Draugen. I guess that's how that's pronounced.
Draugen.
Draugen. So let me get the time code on the screen here.
Just because it's not directly stated. I mean, is it stated in the text that Frodo still enjoys potatoes when he gets back? I don't think it is. So,
are you
ready?
I'm
ready. Waiting on you, dude.
Okay, you're doing a cute little dance.
I'm waiting.
Sure okay, that's your waiting dance. Okay, okay.
It's my anticipation dance.
Your anticipation dance. Okay, here we go. Ready, everybody? In 3, 2, 1, play.
And Steve's just staring at the camera. Vibe along with it. It's just so happy.
It is. It's a really nice opening title sequence. I know, Snakebit Cat. I know you weren't really confused. You were making a joke, and I thought it was very funny. And it gave me an opportunity to take a shit on Lord of the Rings, which I never will ever pass up.
Never ever?
Never ever. I'd love to do it right in Peter Jackson's face. Or better yet, Stephen Colbert's face. It would break his heart. I love that. I love that. That sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, Secret 77, kind of, though not exactly. Dun dun dun. Oh. He's so polite.
Yeah, if possible. Don't put yourself out.
Exactly. Didn't say thank you though, although she hasn't yet provided it, so it's
Yeah.
understandable.
What's he saying thank you for? He's got to wait till he gets what he asked for.
I'll take that as a yes.
She didn't say no. Oh, yeah, roll them bones.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
I love the Woodman. Oh, he's playing Bluto.
Caitlin, absolutely.
Leaving a game early. Oh, thanks for the lift to the dumpster.
Very convenient. Caitlin. Yo. Oh.
I mean, it is a nice hat.
It is a very fine hat.
It is a very fine hat.
Did he say he was planning to help the Draugen? Because I don't remember that.
He didn't know. No, I don't think he did.
Do. I don't know, Kaylin. I think it's given the general vibe of our community. I think we'll pick up on it. Oh man. Today was a lovely day here.
It was a nice day here too.
Wah, wah, wah. She knows how it works.
I'm a fully grown Louis Armstrong now.
Ah, nut, none.
Uh-oh. It's the Black Pearl.
Enjoy your pizza and shut up.
Damn.
Hey, I laughed.
Yes, you did.
Right. But I was questioning whether, whether the show was doing that. And we in the channel came up with that, discussing that issue, even though it wasn't directly spelled out. Hi, guys. He's in charge because he ain't bald. He got seaweed here.
The seaweed of office.
She.
$2.55 AD. It is a margarita pizza that I have added some vegan pepperoni to. Thanks for coming by, Irish DC 95. I appreciate it.
Good night, Irish DC.
Aha.
Uh-huh. I mean, I'd say she's I mean, she is too trusting, but at this point it's just dumb. Sounds like you're not sorry at all.
It really, yeah. It's all your fault, Twig.
Why would you think again? Exactly.
I love his reasoning so much. He just wanted the sextant for the decoration of his dining room, and that's a good enough reason for him. Oh, good to see you, Andrew.
Bye, Andrew.
Thanks for stopping in. Don't work too hard.
Science the science. Yeah, for now. But the episode still has quite a ways to go, kiddo.
Yeah. See, it's like that episode of Mythbusters where they raced the full size car with like the little Hot Wheels car, you know? I stole that too, but anyway.
But that's not the point either.
But we're getting sidetracked. And apparently it's enough to catch up to ghost power.
255 AD, I'll agree with you on the kind of. Caitlin, no. Dang, she's good.
Ew, they're sliming the town.
Like, go down a side street, kiddo.
Yeah, I know. Oh, fuck!
How rude.
There you go.
Oh.
Now, how hard was that? What a magnificent bastard.
Just like ditch the woodman. Let him take him. Caitlin, I would say that is not all. It's not that there was any. I don't think it was that consistent. I would certainly say they're more anarchic than like the Navy, or even than merchant captains. Uh-oh. Why is she blaming Hilda? So
I just
unfair.
knew it was you.
Why is everybody blaming Hilda?
Because she's always involved. I was thinking about it.
Can you ever have enough dead people around?
I mean, it depends on who you're talking about. Oh, you'll never get a fire started that way, Hilda. You need another stick.
Dun dun dun. She just looks so smug.
I know.
Serves you right.
Aw.
Aw.
I missed you the whole time I was killing people out at sea. Oh no.
He did it, Batman.
He's my hero. Thanks, sucker. Oh yeah.
Sequence
Uh,
77, absolutely. Caitlin, I would the Imperial pirates, at least the it, again, it just depends. I am, given the nature of sailing, it's not uncommon for captains to be kind of dictatorial. And I am skeptical that pirates were as I can as willing to seek consensus as I would think of as definitive for anarchy. It just seems like a ship is somewhat naturally hierarchical because just for the necessity of managing it, especially in a venue that's, they're going out and they're entering into combat and people gonna die. So I don't know, that's just hard. I am very skeptical of it, and that's not consistent with what I've read. However, I don't have what I've read because my favorite pirate book is Under the Black Flag, and I don't have it here because it's at school. It's part of my classroom library. It's a really good book.
I was looking for an opportunity when Hilda was on the boat to make a Bloody Jack joke, but I just couldn't find one.
Now, in that case, I have that book right here.
Yeah, yes,
or one of those. This is book 3, aren't we on, right?
Yes.
Such a good book. Such a good series.
Yes, absolutely. I've enjoyed it very much so far.
Yeah, so yeah, I will agree that it's more anarchic than the Navy. That's just like really low bar.
The Navy is rigidly hierarchical.
It's like saying, a better person than Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, like it's easy to believe, but yeah. I like that episode. Lots of quality Woodman stuff. So, you can't go wrong with
your
that.
Favorite character was there.
And he was magnificent.
Delightful.
I mean, yeah. Just, I love his... like, he's stealing a sextant. It's causing all of these problems. All he has to do is say, I'm sorry, and give it back. But he's like, no, I want it for my dining room. He doesn't even need it for anything important. He's just like,
it's important to him, Steve.
I'm doing a nautical theme for my dining room. I just really want it. 255 AD, that is...
I got nothing.
Yeah. So what's with people who are like, yeah, we should...
Wait. I gotta think here. That's why,
Please.
and that's actually one of my upcoming videos. When in doubt, ask questions. Like, I can't answer that for him. Like, ask him. If I agree, we should have Medicare for all and a higher minimum wage for starters. But why do you vote for candidates who don't support that?
Yep.
Why
Do you not? And if you're voting conservative / Republican here in the U.S., you're not just voting for candidates who don't support it. You're voting for candidates who are actively trying to destroy it. Like in the case of Medicare, like they're not just saying, well, what we have now is fine and we just don't need to go any further. They're actively trying to destroy what we have already.
Yeah.
So why are you doing that?
Oh golly, just I know I'm just the closer we get to this November, I'm gonna be incredibly stressed out in November.
Yeah, I mean, like you and I've told you this before in our private conversations. Like I sometimes lose sight of how lucky I am to live not only in a solidly blue state, but in a solidly blue congressional district. Where, I mean, it's not like my senators and my member of Congress are always fantastic and I love every
Yeah,
single thing they
they're
do and
people.
they're people, yeah, but I
And
mean,
sometimes they heck up.
I am incredibly grateful to be represented, at least at the federal level, by Democrats. Now, my state representation is Republicans because I live in a shitty red part of the state, but at the congressional level, at the federal level, I've had exclusively Democratic representation for the last probably 10 years at least, if not longer. And that's been so nice. And it hasn't changed. It probably hasn't changed my life in any particular way, but it's just nice not having to be fucking embarrassed by the people who represent me and represent my
I'm
district.
what's really I'm not even embarrassed anymore. I'm just like so discouraged.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Just,
it's discouraging. And I feel this way. I mean, I feel this way just generally speaking. Like I say, I'm glad I don't have to feel this way about my member of Congress or my senators, but you know, just in general, like it's dispiriting to realize and to have to accept that so many of your neighbors think this way and vote this way and have those priorities. And, like it's not fun. It's incredibly discouraging.
sequence 77, I'm in Georgia. we were watching and we flipped 2 Senate seats. Great.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So you want to talk just barely.
And I mean, we're talking about how, we need to get more Senate seats blue. But I mean, we need to keep Warnock's seat. Warnock's seat is up already.
Yeah, this year. Yeah.
So I'm stressed about that. And I'm just stressed about just honestly not knowing what I'm going to do. I talked with, I don't know how much, I don't remember how much of this I told you. I know I told you I talked to the assistant principal who is my evaluator for this year.
Yes.
About the divisive concepts bill.
Yes.
And I said, I mean, because I talked to her about my concerns, because the assignment that I got that was questioned or challenged was a classroom discussion. It was leading up to a classroom discussion. And it's not a debate, it's a conversation, it's a discussion. And obviously, I mean, there is, reading involved in responding to the literature, but so students do need to make connections with the book and say, you know, here's what the text says and here's what it shows, and have their analysis of that. But just as significantly, and what I really push more is that they show an understanding of what other people have said in their responses to them. Like, it's not enough to say, well, yeah, but no. It sounds like what you mean is this. Is that correct? Or I'm not sure I understand why you would support that point. Can you tell me more? Damn it. You beat me to it, or somebody did.
I did.
And
sorry.
It's okay. And like that, I just see such a need for that, you know, for showing your understanding of what somebody else says, not just showing your understanding of what is in the book. It's not just about text. I mean, we have standards that are speaking and listening. And that was the point of contention. And now we have a number of states have this legislation coming up about not just that, but sequence 77, not just that, but I feel like some parents don't want their kids to be put in the position of being asked to listen to understand. My phrase is listen to understand, not to respond. Show your understanding in your response, not just proving your own point. Like, it's not just about having facts and data. That's not enough. You need to show that you understand where the other person is coming from. And that's not flying, apparently. That's not going to fly.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then what I said to my assistant principal is that may be not the hill that I die on. It's not going to kill me, but that may be the hill that I walk on.
Yeah.
I said, and I don't think I'm alone in this. I said, we're already seeing an exodus of teachers in many states. A lot of them are tied to this. But
yeah. Well, because I mean, there are teachers, I have to believe there are probably even teachers whose personal politics lean a lot more conservative than mine do, who recognize that this is horseshit. That you're there in a lot of these bills, the language is so broad. I mean, they're basically saying you can't teach anything that would make the students feel bad, which is such a revealing irony to me, because when I was growing up,
which
and
students?
Well, not only that, but like when I was growing up and into the 90s and 2000s, like the Republicans, the right wing, the conservatives, and even up until just a couple years ago, and probably even up to today, depending on the issue, they were the fuck your feelings guys. They were the, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're offended. Everything offends some people. You know, you're just looking for a reason to be offended. It doesn't matter if your feelings are hurt. And now all of a sudden, when they see an opportunity to use that in their favor, they'll, I mean, and I've said before, like if we have learned nothing else from the way the Republican Party behaved during the Trump administration, it should be that they don't actually have principles. They pretend to have principles to get what they want. And if they can do something and get what they want, then they'll do it. And if a couple years later they have to do the exact opposite of the thing they already did to get something else that they want, they will do that. They don't have principles. They only pretend to have them. And it's incredibly dangerous to assume otherwise. It's incredibly dangerous to treat them as though they are good, fair actors when they are not, you know?
Yeah. Kemp, yes, you do. And part of the reason for that is that North Carolina has a lot of the same problems Georgia does. I mean,
yeah, if it
no
was...
offense. I mean, I'm saying, you know, we got something to say, but it's part of why I don't want to leave. It's because the kids deserve better. So 255 AD, my husband's from this area. And when, you know, we got married, I applied for positions in Pennsylvania and I applied for positions in Georgia, and I got a job offer here. So we moved because this is where I got a job offer. I care. I care about my students. And the only thing that I can compare it to is mission, literally mission work. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if not me, then who? You know, that there's, I don't know, growing up where I did in the Methodist church, you know, relatively recent, not a classic hymn, but let's see, here I am, Lord, is it I, Lord? I've heard you calling in the night. I will go. If you lead me, I will something lead your people, something like that. But, you know, essentially, you know, it's not like, well, if I don't do it, nobody will. Well, not nobody, but one less person. I mean, I know there are students, and I'm not a super popular teacher. I don't connect with most students. I don't, I assign a lot of work. I don't like that. English is a pretty writing heavy class, and yes, but
Radical Bacon has a very good point.
exactly. But at the same time, I think there's a greater need here for somebody who doesn't fit in. We need more, you know, we need more teachers who are not, who are willing to push the envelope, and who are willing to listen to students and not simply tell them who they should be. That's kind of what I feel like. That's kind of why I feel like I get in trouble as much as I do, because parents don't like it when their kids, like somebody else, you know, Radical Bacon, was that you? Yeah, your mom telling you too smart for your own good. And I'm, you know, so, you know, when I will, I don't ask students their pronouns, but I ask them what name they would like to be called, which is fine, because some students go by their middle name.
Yeah,
I can totally get that. Slide that sucker in there.
Teachers used to ask students that back when I was in high school. That's not unusual at all. Yeah.
But when it's an open blank, I have students put in their name and say, and my pronouns are blah, blah, blah. And then I use those. And 25580, no, I'm not in any danger. I am not in any danger. So, and exactly, sequence of, I feel like, you know, I'm confident that there are literally some young adults who are alive right now because of not just me, but because there are people like me in the school system. And there aren't as many of us as there should be. You know, and some of it is, I'm not uncritically supportive either. You know, yes, please be true to yourself, be who you want to be, but be aware that that comes with consequences. You know, there are going to be people who aren't going to accept you, and what are you going to do about that? What are you going to do about it? You need to have some way. Oh yeah, to be vanity, but I'm a nice white lady. Seriously, I'm literally not scared. I'm not. I'm a nice white lady, and I've got an incredible social network. People and people have, you know, I do, you know, get in trouble, but well, not only that, but also, you know, should there be significant governmental change, they you know, hit the intellectuals. Teachers are not one of the oh, sequence 77, that's one of my videos. Test scores. There's a big push at my school to raise specifically our department's test scores, and we actually had a meeting this morning about that, bright and early, 45, no, an hour before school started. That's okay. I'd rather have it then, because then we have a gotta stop. Can't just, because me and English teachers, we can go, we can talk, we all have opinions. And oh, radical bacon, just good gravy. And but there was a discussion about where our test scores are, and some of the teachers were saying the students, I have students who take the test and they just quick go through it. It used to be Christmas treeing on the Scantrons. Now it's all digital, so they just click through, click, and they're done in like a matter of minutes. I wish we could get the times as part of the student data. That would be nice.
So you can see who did it in like 15 seconds and wasn't even trying. Yeah.
Well, not 15 seconds, because it takes time for the next question to load.
So yeah.
So,
okay.
I would say if it's under like 15 minutes, then yeah, that's the equivalent of Christmas tree. But I said, well, because the discussion that leads to is that students just aren't, they're not diligent, they're not motivated, they're and moving towards they're lazy, and I'm just like, so why don't they care about this test? And specifically, if we're seeing a difference, because our department head said she's going to ask around to teachers at other schools, how do you get your students to care about this test? I said, okay, before we do that, let's do, like, I can write up a Google Forms survey and just survey the students. Did you, 1 to 5, how much effort did you put forth on the end of the state exam? Why did you put forth that much effort? And see what results we get. Keeping in mind, this is self-reported. Did your score was, whatever you got on the test, was that consistent with your ability? So, why is it going that way? And then use that as we're talking with the teachers from other schools. If we see a difference, we need to know why it's there before we try to do something about it. Before we start, okay, well, we need to get students, to care about this test and to try their best. Well, if we don't know why they are not trying their best, how are we going to go about that? Oh. So, yeah.
2G5 AD says, going back to the episode, what did you think of the gender ambiguous ship captain?
I didn't think the ship captain was all that gender ambiguous.
Neither did I.
Once I heard the voice, but I mean, they are sort of, especially given the skull-ish face, you don't get a lot of those secondary, tertiary sexual characteristics. So it's ambiguous in that way. Mostly it's just because they're ghosts. I think all the ghosts were like that.
Yeah.
The voice definitely gave it away.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting to think about, the ghosts are blobby. The cloud is also blobby. You don't know whether that is, a male or female cloud. And some things aren't, may not be gendered in Hilda's world. So
yeah,
it's kind of cool.
I do think the idea that was discussed in the chat of like the ghosts being gender ambiguous is interesting. I didn't really pay all that much notice to that until it was pointed out. But I guess it makes sense, if you are a spirit, if you are completely separated from your body, and if you interpret one's gender identity to be tied to your body in some way or another, and then you don't have a body, maybe it's different, but I don't,
But they do have bodies. They have corporeal.
They have like protoplasm. Obviously. Yeah.
They're blorpy.
That is, and again, it goes back to something else I've really liked about the show consistently, which is the character designs. Like, I love that idea of, and I really like the ones when she raises the dead at the end and they come out of the graves, and some of them only have like a couple of bones, and then they're mostly just blob. And I love that like the whatever
they're mostly blorbs.
Whatever bones they have are there floating in the ectoplasm in whatever place they're supposed to be, but most of them are, and I just love that idea of, you can see the skeletons, but they're not just bones walking around. They have like a ghostly body where the bones are inside. I just think that's really cool.
So sequence 77. I don't think it's linked on here, but if you go to my channel, which I think is linked on here, I think in my videos I linked to my blog, and Steve, I don't think I've done a video for the myth of laziness.
I don't think you have.
But I do have it as a blog post. It's one of my earlier blog posts. So you can just type laziness into the search bar and it'll probably come up. But yeah, that's something that I have that's been my thing for a long time. It's like laziness is not actually, that doesn't exist. And it's not children. It's not just children anyway. Okay, that still applies to adults. And what I tell my students, I'm like, no, there's no such thing as laziness. It's just different priorities. And what laziness is, it means you have priorities that aren't consistent with what other people think your priorities should be.
Right.
So as far as whether I choose to be a female ghost, I don't know that I put a whole lot of effort into it, because gosh dang, if what you look like matters after you're dead, oh gosh, I was raging about this earlier. I'm like, I would love it if what you look like didn't matter. It'd be so nice if we could just get past appearances. Yeah. God, that'd be so freaking nice. Ugh.
Kemp Chalmers, I don't know if it comes out at midnight tonight or not. I know that I won't watch it until tomorrow, because I ain't staying up late to watch it when it first.
But you'll stay up late for wrestling.
Well, not that late. I'll stay up until I'll stay up until 10 for wrestling. I ain't staying up till after midnight.
So for how late, if they had like a special wrestling or like the like something, I don't know, WrestleMania or the equivalent in AEW.
If it was a night where I knew I had to get up early the next day, I might stay up until 11, maybe, if I really wanted to see the show that bad. Otherwise, I always record it anyway. So if I do happen to miss it or go to sleep, I can always watch it the next day. So, I mean, if it was like a show that I really, really wanted to see and it was going to run to 11, I might stay up until then, but not much after that. Now, if it was like on a Friday or a Saturday, you know, like there's an AEW pay-per-view this weekend, and I think it's on Sunday. And I'm curious about that, because one of the things I have sort of mildly complained about AEW since it started is that their pay-per-views are just way too fucking long. They'll do like 4-hour pay-per-views, which is ridiculous. WWE's apparently are even longer now. Like WWE has occasionally ventured into like 5-hour pay-per-view territory, which is just like, why would anybody watch that in one sitting? But an AEW show, it's like there's no reason for a wrestling pay-per-view ever to go over 3 hours. You know, if you can't keep it in 3 hours, then you need to cut some matches. Sorry, not everybody can make the show. You know, there's no reason it needs to be over 3 hours. So I'm hopefully it won't keep me up too late Sunday night, because I do the pay-per-view this weekend for AEW there's some matches on there that I am really, really eager to see. Yes, Radical Bacon, you must put me prioritizing wrestling.
Yes, yes, please do. It's definitely part of, you know, the shtick. 25580, no, never. I did not really, actually, I started getting interested in makeup and playing around with it when I was a teacher, and it was I was after either the 2009 or 2011 ALA, at which I got a copy of the book Making Faces, which is really neat. It's about, you know, different makeup styles, you know, some of the classic looks, like the bee stung look in the 20s and early, you know, very early 30s, and very famous in silent pictures. You know, just sort of different looks and how they're, you know, how it changes the way your face looks. And this was pre-contouring, mind you. And it was just a lot of, it really got me thinking about, you know, the face as, you know, just sort of the backdrop for whatever you want to do. But there's a lot of effort in that. So I didn't really do a whole lot. I won't say I didn't do it consistently until I started getting into theater. And then it was only consistently as far as like, we have a show Thursday evening, Friday evening, Saturday evening, Sunday matinee. So it was like 4 days in a row. It was like, you know, do makeup, and you know, you kind of get, for this character, here's what I'm doing with my face. And then, you know, another couple months go by, you do a different show. For this character, I'm doing this with my face. This is the vibe of the show, da, da, da. So I really started learning more about makeup once I was doing theater. And then that was when I learned about false eyelashes, which was so much fun. Man, those suckers really make your eyes pop. But taking them off, oh my gosh, I'm terrible with mascara. Like I can do makeup for the show, but like I do minimal makeup at school because I used all day.
Right.
Cool. That is not happening. Not happening. Yeah, radical aging, but not. Yes, it was a thing, but not to the extent that there are like a bajillion contouring videos on YouTube. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know if it's more common or if it's just I think it's not more common, it's just more visible because we have YouTube or there's much more
There's more attention drawn
creation.
to it. Yeah.
Yes, there's more content creation, user generated content creation. So and then Sequence 77, I did want to there was a series of blog posts. I haven't been able to find them, but it's been years at this point that a teacher that I was following at the time said, this is why we need to give extra attention to struggling learners. They need to be where we focus, our extra resources. And then the second blog post in the series was actually, we need to focus our resources on our super motivated learners. We can't just be like, oh, they'll be fine. They're going to be fine on their own. If we don't actually take that opportunity and give them what they need in order to be successful and excel, they're going to lose that. So we really need to focus our extra resources on those who are actually going to do something with it. And then, of course, third blog post in this series was, no, we really need to focus our extra resources on the kids in the middle because they just get ignored so often. They get left out. And if we don't provide them what they need, then they're not going to be able to be successful. So, of course, the fourth blog post was, actually, what we need to do is provide our kids with what they need in order to be successful.
Right.
I mean, it's called the Every Student Succeeds Act. And one of the things that helps when I have conversations with parents is I go into it with the idea that everybody wants to be successful. Nobody goes in to whatever they're doing thinking, you know what? I just want to suck. No, that's not the way it works. It doesn't work that way.
No.
Ugh.
It's not how any of this works. Kemp, I buy the pay-per-view. I will not sit here and tell you that I have never watched an illegal stream for a wrestling show, but 99% of the time and 100% of the time, if it's a show that I want to see and I can afford it, I will pay for it because especially if it's like an AEW show, because I want to support the company and I can't afford it. And also when you get it legally, it's way more reliable. Like a lot of those streams that are like pirate streams that you can find online, they're not very reliable, especially if you like, to Chromecast it or something to your TV. They tend to go out. The sound quality and the picture quality is not that great. Like I've got a nice TV and a good internet connection. If I'm going to watch wrestling, I want it to look as good as it can look. So I'll pay the fucking $40 or whatever it is for the show. I mean,
I know what my question might be. I know what my question might be. Oh yeah, by the way, so let's it's 7:30 and that'll give me some time to, go potty before wrestling.
Yes, let's start. Let's wrap this baby up. So
don't forget, this week is Ask Away. So if you are a patron or if you're a channel member, you should send in your question for Steve and boss him around a bit so that he's depending on you for content. Apparently, it's very exploitative, but that's okay. Also, don't forget about the charity links. It's very important, and not just important, but it's cool to be able to help people out. And this is one way that you can.
Absolutely.
It's curated by our friend, Some Random Geek. And yeah, help out. Do you have the link for Ukraine down there?
I believe I do. Let me double check to make sure. But if I don't, I will put it in before we wrap up.
So you can also donate to help the Ukrainian army. And hopefully at some point, if the link's not already down there, by the time this is like, and it goes off from being live to like being in the channel, then it'll be down there because Steve will have fixed it if he didn't already,
It is not there, but I'm going to put it in right now.
Fix it, Steve. Jeez.
I'm doing it.
And then, oh yeah, I've got a channel, YouTube, and leave comments, please. And if you want to support our work, Steve has a Patreon, which is patreon.com/Steve Shives, or you can just click join or like
the join button
money or something.
Yeah.
The join button down here on YouTube. And I've got a Patreon as well. It's patreon.com/DanaCoolDares. And you can hear me cuss. Dun dun dun. I think the one I've got up there already has an F-bomb in it. Maybe two. And then what's today?
Today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday. So yeah, Ask Away is going to be on Friday. So you can come in even if you're not a patron or a channel member, and you can just like yak with all of us in the chat. And then after Steve gets done answering the patron questions, he will start interacting with the chat. And
Indeed.
so even if you're like, you don't have to give any money, totally free. And then just like, first of all, you can hang out with us because we're way cooler than he is anyway. And then after that, if you actually want some attention from Steve, still get it without paying anything. And then on Saturday. Yeah, I did not forget. And yes, Kemp, I am streaming this Saturday with my Saturday 6 at 6 p.m. And I'm going to talk about the good things that have happened over the last 2 weeks, both in my life and in the world. And then we go into next week. And next week, it's going to be DS9. Yeah. And there's a story. But it's like a long ways away.
It's not. Yeah, we're not there yet. But when we get there, there is a short story that you shared with me, an N.K. Jemisin short story that you found parallels with Dax.
I think it made me think of Dax. So yeah. I'm apparently starting to see connections. I'm becoming a Trekkie.
Yeah, you're becoming not just a Trekkie, my dear. You're becoming a Niner.
A Niner?
A Niner. That's the best kind of Trekkie. That's a Deep Space Nine focused Trekkie.
Oh, okay. I thought that was talking about the character on Voyager 7 of 9.
7 of 9. Yeah, I guess you would have those would be Seveners because Niner is already taken.
Oh, okay. But couldn't we be Deepers?
Could be seven of Niners. Deepers.
No, I mean
Deepers.
Because the first word is
deep.
I mean, well, but so no to 55 AD. I'm going to name the story like a week, maybe 2 weeks before then, because like no spoilers. Unless you just want to read every N.K. Jemisin short story out there, which would not be a poor use of your time because her stuff's amazing.
But speaking
you liked the story, didn't you, Steve?
Yes, I did. I like the story very much.
Good.
Yes.
All right, we can still be friends.
Speaking of next week, though, next week we will be watching the Deep Space Nine episode Crossover, which is a very fun episode because it is the first episode in Deep Space Nine where they visit the mirror universe, which was first and at this point last visited by Captain Kirk and company in the classic Star Trek original series episode Mirror Mirror. So Deep Space Nine reaching back to the classic stuff to pull out a concept. So that'll be fun. And they do a bunch more Mirror Universe episodes after this one in subsequent seasons, and maybe we'll watch some of those and maybe we won't, but none of those are as good as the first one. So the other than Crossover, which I think is a legitimately very fun episode, the Mirror Universe episodes of Deep Space Nine for me are the rare episodes of Deep Space Nine that you can usually skip. It's just like, I mean, I don't remember any of them being like actively bad, but it's just like, okay, but the first one is excellent. So we'll watch that next week. So yeah. Right. And
did I miss anything?
I don't think so. And those of you who've been watching the whole time, you might not see it yet, but if you reload the page or just wait until the stream is over and reload the page, you will see the link to support the Ukrainian army in the video description of this. And I also added it to the description of my Ask Away for Friday. So it'll be there too. And I'll mention it then as well. But yeah, I believe we're done. So there you go. You go do whatever you're going to do. I'll go get ready to watch wrestling.
Get ready for wrestling.
Get ready for wrestling.
I'm gonna make sure that I have everything set for tomorrow and get ready for bed.
There you go. That sounds great. All right, everybody. I will see you on Friday. Dana will see you on Saturday on her channel.
I don't mind at all, and I don't think Steve really cares about spoilers. I was giving you a hard time, and I'm sorry if that came across as me actually being harsh. I don't think there's room in the chat to really give away like an entire episode. Besides, a lot of it's on how it's done anyway.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't care about spoilers. Like someone I follow on Instagram spoiled Avengers Endgame before I saw it. Like gave away like everything that happened. And I saw it before I had a chance to look away. Like they were just like, here's what happened. And it was like a dick move. It was kind of a malicious, like,
Mhm.
and cause I don't like, I try to put spoiler warnings in my stuff if I'm going to give away something big. But it was spoiled, and I went to see the movie, and sure enough, everything that they said happened in it is the way it happened. I still love the movie.
Yeah.
It still affected me emotionally. It still got to me. It,
Aww,
you know,
it got to you.
how do you not, how does, and I am Iron Man not get to you? Come on. Are you made of stone? It didn't get to
I
you,
just
did
don't
it?
like Tony Stark.
Damn. Okay. Well,
Like,
what about Cap? Um, and oh God, I can't think of her name now.
Peggy?
Peggy. What about Cap and Peggy at the end?
I will say, okay, so I kind of you kind of see it coming. What got me was the look from Bucky. Like right before he leaves, Bucky knows what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
That I was like, that was, and I was just like, I was like, oh, okay, because let me tell you, I had started really hard, and I knew it wasn't actually gonna, they weren't gonna do it, but man, I had started shipping Sam and Steve so hard. I was like, because he comes back, and they're both, they have these sort of war story moments, and they start to connect, and and then
Yeah.
there's the neighbor, and then it turns out she's not actually into him, she's like sort of watching him, and then and then Bucky's back, and so Sam backs off because of course Steve and Bucky are a thing, but Bucky's not, they're like
But they're not.
friends.
Yeah.
And then and it's all complicated, and then they get back together, and it's so sweet, and then it's like, oh, but he gets back together with Peggy. It's like, and I liked that because like way back when he, at the end of his movie, when he comes back,
Mhm.
she says, she tells him what happened. She says, you came back, and she's not talking about that.
Yeah. She's talking about later.
She's telling
Or,
him. Yeah, I was
about
like,
later, but
oh,
earlier. Yeah. It's
yes.
it's
I'm
really
just
good.
like, that was really well set up.
Yeah.
Really well set up.
Corey, and
That was
real quick before we finish, I just wanted to comment. Corey says there have been studies that show people who have been spoiled actually enjoy movies more than those who haven't. I mean, for me, the reason, like, I don't actively seek them out. Like, I try to avoid them, but like I just said, like, if a movie does get spoiled, it doesn't automatically mean that I'm not going to enjoy it or that I'm not going to bother seeing it. Um, Most movies that I really, really like, I'm probably going to watch more than once anyway.
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
I went to see Spider-Man 2 in the theater 7 times. I loved it every single time. When I went, when 1999, two of my favorite movies in 1999 were Eyes Wide Shut, the last Stanley Kubrick movie, and
Yeah.
Magnolia. And
Oh my God.
I went to see Eyes Wide Shut in the theater 5 times. Every time I sat until the end of the credits, right? Magnolia, I went and saw, I think I ended up seeing Magnolia 6 times in the theater. I knew after the first time, and Magnolia has like a big twist toward the end, like a big unexpected thing happens, right? After I see it the first time, I know what it is. I know what's going to happen. It's
Yeah,
still
but that's different, because you're going in, you've had that first time experience, and then you get the experience of watching the build up to it and looking for the clues that you know what I mean. So it's a different, so like when there is something like that, especially when it's done well, and
Yeah.
somebody spoils it for you, you get that second viewing experience, which is still good, but you don't get that first viewing experience of seeing, like very much with Peggy and Steve, and realizing that when she said you came back, she's not talking about right then.
Right. She's
talking about, by the way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how lucid is she? She can't tell him everything, and so it's just, oh my gosh, it's great. Anyway.
Yeah. And yeah, David C. Drake, Darth Vader telling Luke that he's his father is still, the movie works within the moment works within the context of the movie, even though going in that it's going to happen.
Also, David C. Drake, there is a wonderful, Mark Hamill gives a wonderful interview. I think it's with Graham Norton. And he's talking about the time when he was told that, when he found out, because he says that the line originally was, no, Obi-Wan killed your father. And he says, if you think about it, it works the same way.
Right. Luke's reaction.
Exactly. Yeah. Everything still makes sense. But then he says, the dude who did Empire.
The guy who directed it?
Yeah.
Irvin Kershner.
Yeah. I think he said that Kershner came in and told him. He said, I know, and Lucas knows, and I'm going to tell you, and you'll know. But if it gets out, we'll know.
We'll know who the leak is, Mark.
And he said, wow, Dad Vader? Are you serious? And he says that Kershner said, well, search your heart. I'm just like, oh man.
My favorite.
It's a great interview because he says that then when they watched it in the theater, Harrison Ford turned and looked at him and says, well, shit, you didn't tell me about that, kid.
That's hilarious.
and then he goes on. I think Norton says, what does Harrison Ford think of your impression of him? He says, I don't sound anything like that. I can't do it with a straight face. That's how you know he's really a great actor.
He does a perfect Harrison Ford.
It's so good.
He does a perfect Harrison Ford.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Caitlin, Steve's just weird like that. It's because he's such a big shot YouTuber. He's just got money to burn.
I haven't done it lately. I can't remember the last time I went to see a movie more than once in a theater. It's been a long time, but and I mean with COVID now, like if not for COVID, I probably would have gone to see Spider-Man No Way Home at least twice. But I didn't want to go out anymore. I really liked it. And I'm going to see Batman opens on Friday. I'm going to see that. The early reviews have been good, so hopefully I like that. But I mean, and I think I saw The Dark Knight in the theater, I think 3 or 4 times. So not quite Spider-Man 2 level, but I liked it enough that I wanted to go back and see it a few more times. It's just like not wanting to wait to see it again. It's like, especially with because I love Spider-Man 2 so much. And it was like, I got to see this movie again. Like I just
gotta go now.
It so much.
I don't want to wait.
Okay, so
wait, no.
Yes,
because Philip said speaking a lot in the cinema. I don't know if I've told you the story. I probably have because it's a good story. My dad went to see The Sting in the theater.
Okay, yeah.
And he figured out the twist. And he says he yelled out in the theater, I know it! I know what the Sting is!
Oh, wow.
His buddy that he was there was like,
shut the fuck up.
Like smacked him. Shut up!
That's hilarious.
I know what the Sting is. Oh my God. All right.
Well then.
It's been a lovely evening. Thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you all so much for joining us. And we will be back next week to watch Deep Space Nine crossover. And I'll see you on Friday for my Ask Away stream. Dana will see you on Saturday on her channel.
Oh no!
For the Saturday
God,
6.
No!
What?
What were we talking about? I had a question for you, and now it's gone. I didn't say what it is. I needed to ask you something to figure out.
I was talking about wrestling pay-per-views, and you had asked me how late I would stay up.
Oh, I know. I'm going to write it down because I'll forget again. I will totally forget again.
Write it down.
Shut us off.
Okay.
Seriously, wrap up the stream.
Okay,
bye, everybody.
Dana's looking for a pencil to write something down, so I will just say bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see.